morning. Sandy Picking here from Mace Strongman events, obviously run by myself and Mark Anglesey, 2 times Guinness World Record holder, in case you didn't know. Just previewing our show on the 27th of August. That's the Peak District Highland Games over at Matlock Farm Park. Just a little bit of a quick update on the competitors and running through some of the events that will be familiar to some of you. We've been running this for 8 years now, so they're the same events, finishing off with the Peak District Dinny Stones as well, which is always a killer of an event. So I'll just run through some of the events and some of the people that we've got. Some names that you'll be used to as well if you've gone up there or you've followed us on social media. There's some competitors that have been there now and experienced the Highland Games, experienced at all the events as well over the last couple of years. And then we've got a couple of newbies as well that we're throwing in just to mix it up a little bit. So in the men, we have Mark Stevenson. Mark won Rotherham Highland Games last year. He also competed in the Peak District Highland Games after a couple of years ago, being a fan and actually watching that competition that we run, that Mace run as a fan. Got involved in the amateur scene, novice scene of strongman, competed in the under 105s Yorkshire's, one of our shows a couple of weeks ago. And he's in again, always a great competitor, really nice guy as well, just to deal with, always helps. We've got a new guy coming, Tom Holland. He came second in the Opens at Yorkshire's Strongest Man. Don't know too much about Tom in terms of his competitions, but he was fantastic at Yorkshire's Strongest Man, came second in that and ran Scott Moore, the eventual champion in that, down to the wire. On the stones as well, got 140 kilo stone up as well on that. That was the heaviest stone on the day. Super powerful, super quick to me. I think Tom could be one to watch in this as well for me. Jimmy Sharp, unfortunately, Jimmy Sharp's out. He competed 2 years ago. He's got a pec injury, so unfortunately he's out. Mark Pearson, he's back in, really competitive in the under 105 scene as well. Came third in Yorkshire's Strongest Man at that. Super quick and athletic as well. He moves really fast. So on any of the moving events, Stone of Destiny is going to be fairly quick for me. Log might be a little bit difficult. I don't know. That's for reps. That's the opening event. It'd be pretty good at the tractor pull as well. And I think Mark, and at the Dinny Stones, I expect that he's going to get better. Seen the under 105s get better and better times on the hold on the Dinny Stones. But we start off with the log press of 8-ton tractor pull, of caber toss, stone throw, Stone of Destiny, and we always finish off with the Dinny Stones. Might be a little bit of mix in the order, but we always finish off with the Dinny Stones, and we always start with the log press for reps. So the 120 kilo log rolled up, and it's as many reps as you can. But a bit of a laugh there as well with who's going to be the king of the log on the day. So I'll go through some of those competitors as well. It's great to have John Thor back as well. So he'll be up with Emma Wilson, who's competing in the women's category. I thought John did really well last year. Some of these guys that come in as well have a little bit of a practice early on in the morning before the competitors get there. You know, they might have to go with the caber. A lot of camaraderie in strongman sports as well. So some of the more experienced competitors will always just show them some of the techniques that they've held. Obviously, everybody wants to win. Of course, it's competition, it's title. Great crowd up there at Matlock as well, so you feel like a champ, as you should do. That's part of the experience of the day. But the guys will share some of the tips and techniques that they've learned over the years for the newbies that are coming along as well. The Scott Moore, Yorkshire's Strongest Man. So Scott was originally in, but he's got an Arnold qualifier the week after, so Scott's dropped out, but I expect he'll be turning up and cheering along as well. So that's a shame. But you've got to look at your career and where you're going as well. And unfortunately, there's just a little bit of a clash there. Mark Thompson, well, I always call him poster boy, don't we, Mark? Always going to top off, always getting pictures with the crowd. Again, it's super helpful on day, Mark, as well. It just throws himself in. It helps set up some of the stones over the years. You know, he's always helping as well as competing. And he's got better as well. I think Mark's really good again under 105. He's quick, he's agile on those sort of events as well. He's improved his Dinny Stones as well. I'll tell you, something last year and the year before, he's improved every time on his time there. So Mark Thompson's a really good one. Sean Blair's, what can I say about Sean Blair's from Stowe? I think Highland Games is Sean's events for me. It gets better and better. He's come on our shows. He comes on our road shows as well, where we're doing demos. He came down Norfolk, so he's got that experience and practice. Really good at throwing events as well. I mean, I remember him throwing the Mace at Norfolk, Sean, and he just went absolutely across the field. And he came second last year against Jake Rideout. Log's really good. That's got better and better. I've seen his training. There's not a bad event really for Sean. He's consistent, and to get second place and move up's been great. So I think Sean is one to watch again for at least a podium space on that. Matt Cole, what can I say about Matt Cole? Just a super guy to deal with. Just a really nice guy. Met his family as well. They all come and support him. 3 times under 105 kilo champ for the UKs as well. Really good on farmers. I think he's held a world record in that as well. Grip events, upper body strength. He's not really got a weakness. He's a really rounded athlete coming off back of an injury. So we'll see how he goes. And here's my son just coming to say hello as I'm recording this. So look out for Matt Cole. He'll be absolutely brilliant, I think, on the day. And then we also have Miroslav Polodek. He's the new Hull Strongest Man, 2 times Hull Strongest Man as well. It'd be really good to see how he does as well. He's quite consistent, competed and performed well at Yorkshire's Strongest Man as well. So it's great to have him out. Jake Rideout won it last year, complete solid competitor. Got to take the log first event, battling that out with Sean. I reckon on there with a few people, competitor have dropped out on that big log presses as well. So Jake's always up there as a contender for first anyway, log. So he's good. He won it last year, consistent throughout, great on the caber toss as well. I think he holds the longest distance on the caber toss as well. Good on the Dinny Stones again, not really any weak events for him. Terry Harrison, he's a new one from Lincoln. It was supposed to be in last year. Unfortunately couldn't make it. It says he's committing this year as well. Stands 6'7", competes out in Lincoln, young guy as well. Just a unit as well. So we'll see how he does. I've been watching him in training. He's got a good deadlift, obviously strong upper body back as well. So he might really suit these events. We'll see. We've got Lewis Bucknell as well. He's coming over from Lincoln as well. Don't know too much about Lewis. Competed in the truck championships over there. Look really strong as well. So again, we'll see how his events are. Dave Johnson, what a guy. Does tons for charity. Organises truck pull championship out in Lincolnshire as well. Gets involved, pulled all sorts of different machinery from aeroplanes to tractors to buses, you name it. Really good on the scene, organises some good events and just an all-round nice guy. So he'll be in there as well. There's a few more competitors to add in this as well, so it will change. We're just waiting confirmation for a couple of more competitors in there, and I will update you on that via the social media channels. In the women so far, Emma Wilson's back, absolutely fantastic. Did the 152 kilo front stone hold last year, got over a minute on that, was absolutely fantastic. Weighs in about 10 stone, did really well, really quick on the stone run as well. Michaela Moore won it last year, the women's category. She was fantastic, no real weak event, 60 kilo long. They start off with reps. Kim Howells, fantastic, looks after all the athletes, brings bacon as well, always a smile on her face, and she does really well as well. And then we've also got Laura Hollywood as well. So she's at British natural strength level as well. Won loads and loads of titles. And she's going to be a newbie to watch as well. Don't know too much about her, watch the training and things like that. She's looking really strong. So I think she will be a really, really good competitor in that. Probably open up 1 or 2 more places in the women's category as well. We have special guest referee Scott Mark Litchfield. Everybody knows Scott. He's won that title twice as well. Not competing this year, but he will be down helping to officiate. So give him a big round of applause. Great guy to deal with. And he's been the poster boy in terms of all the promotional stuff that you'll see around Chesterfield and Matlock over the years. We've always had a laugh about that. I've driven by a roundabout at work before and I've seen Scott's face pitched up in the middle of it. Richard Hanson, what a guy he was to work with back in the day. Real crowd pleaser, just really got the crowd going, did Rich. Gave it his all. Yeah, I've seen him down at Frickley there with Atlas Stones and he's fired up and he really gets the crowd behind him. Doesn't compete in Strongman anymore. Really busy with his lovely family out there, but he's coming along as well. Rich Hanson to help officiate. We'll have Mark Angles there. We've got as loaders Richard Hiley as well. He's got Jim over Stocksbridge and Jack Tipper as well. He competes in Strongman. There are loaders, the familiar faces. I'll be on the PA system. And then we'll have our usual crew out there taking photos and stuff like that. Absolutely for this show as well. Part of Man Beast Productions is we always make it accessible for the athletes and crowd. You know, we don't charge for pictures and getting involved with the crowd. So we often, when it's safe to do so, open up the arena, and the crowd are quite welcome to come onto the arena at Matlock Farm Park and have their picture with the athletes and kids and everything else. That's a real bonus of the show. People love that. And we do hang about after the show as well. So 6 events, like I was saying: log press, tractor pull, caber toss, stone throw, stone of destiny, carry, and Peak District Dinny stones to finish with. All the points are accumulated over those events to announce the winner. The winner did the 8-ton tractor pull last year. They had a 4-ton tractor the year before that. We've made it equal now, so they pull the same weight as the men, which I think is great. The other weights, they are lighter. Obviously, logs around about 60 kilo. They lift 1 Dinny stone, not 2. Although people will remember that moment a couple of years ago. We had the legend Chloe Brennan up, who is a bit of a technician in terms of the original Dinny stones up in Scotland as well. And she didn't hold them for time, but she cleared both stones off the ground just for a momentary second or two, and they are awkward stones, way heavier than the original Dinny stones, awkward shape. If you get the pickup wrong and they start swinging or bouncing against your leg, you've had it. Just to give you an idea of some of the record times on that. So the record time on that was a guy called Dave Thornton, 1 minute 13 seconds he held for that. Followed closely by Matt Cole in his first ever attempt at that. He got 1 minute 11. I'm expecting if Matt comes in rehabbed, recovered, strong, as I know he does, he takes his training seriously, his grip's tremendous. Could Matt break that record? I think there's a real possibility he could go beyond 1 minute 13 seconds if he gets that pickup right and he's nice and steady, like it was last time. He was zoned down, rock solid, stones weren't moving, against side of his legs, and he just held on. I think he could potentially break that 1 minute 13 seconds, so watch out for him. In third, on the Dinny stones in terms of all-time records, is Scott Mark Litchfield at 1 minute 8 seconds. Obviously, Scott's not competing this year, but he had the longest time for a good 2 or 3 years on that. I thought it was unbeatable. Had a couple of difficult pickups, I think, in the last couple of years after that, and never surpassed that time of 1 minute 8. But that's still, that record kept there for a good couple of years. And then Scott, if he comes back into the strongman scene and competes at these games again, he's just solid on that. And again, if Scott does come back into the Peak District Highland Games at some point in the future, never count him out, because he's a monster on the log. He's good at the throwing caber toss events, as well as good at all the throwing events. On the stone carry, really good, solid on the tractor pull as well, at least for a top 3. He's going to make that and get points on the board. And when he's on form with the Dinny stones, is an animal on there as well. So that's the sort of roundup of where we are at the moment in terms of the competitors. Like we're saying, there will be a couple of changes and additions into that, and we'll keep you updated on the Man-Beast Instagram, Man-Beast Facebook, and Man-Beast YouTube as well. Let's hope for a dry day. We ran Yorkshire's strongest man in probably one of the wettest conditions we have. Probably Matlock actually beats that about 6 years ago. I think we had a really, really, really wet day up there. When it rains up there on that moor, that is damp. That were a bad competition. If we get dry weather up there, get a good crowd. I think we've averaged 1,500, 2,000 people up there. It's just a really good day out. If you've got kids and stuff like that as well, obviously it's at a farm park, so there's tons of stuff to do between events. The bagpipe man comes out at a Highland fling dancer as well. Last year, just all adds to that Scottish feel and the competition. And it really is one of those events, I think, where we've worked hard on combining strongman with Highland Games stuff. So there's a real mix of events that test different strength levels, upper body, lower body, arms, grip, mental strength as well, with some of the events, especially the holding events like the Dinny stones. There's different techniques there of zoning out, taking your head somewhere completely different. Other people stare at the crowd and feed off the energy of the crowd as well, willing it on. And don't forget, with the last event as well, when it's close, and it has been close over the last couple of years at the Highland Games, it has literally been that event that has separated a winner and the podium. One bad, if you've been on 4th, 3rd position right throughout that competition, and you get a really bad Dinny stone hold on that can be the difference between a podium finish and dropping down to 4th, 5th. The people that scored really highly all the way through can be that close, 1 or 2 points or so, and they're just holding on for that last couple of seconds on the Peak District Dinny stones, can make you the winner as well. So this is Andy Picking. Thank you very much for listening to my insight and some of the athletes announcements there of who we've got. Like we're saying, do just keep a tab on our Facebook pages and we'll keep you updated. We're about 4 weeks out now. Should be a great day. Probably one of the pinnacle shows in terms of what we run. Yorkshire's Strongest Man and the Peak District Highland Games are probably the two top shows for me. Absolutely great atmosphere they both create. So hopefully see you there in the next 4 weeks.